I think I'm going to need a bigger bowl.
It's our time with Mr. Mayberry. Hey, let's get creative.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Mayberry.
Today I'm going to show you how to draw a fishbowl or a fish tank. Now you can use regular copy paper for this project, but I would recommend using something larger if you have access to larger paper. I'm going to be using a 12 by 18 piece of paper. Before we start, let's do our paper exercise. Hold up your paper this direction and let's say together, portrait, landscape. Portrait, landscape. Today, for this picture, I'd like to have our paper the landscape way. So let's get started. It's time to make some art. Okay, today we're drawing a fishbowl or a fish tank. And I'm going to start off by drawing a fishbowl. And I have my paper turned horizontally. And you can use, mainly we're using crayons today to draw. And it is important that we use crayons because we're going to be continuing this project next week. And we're going to actually add the water to the tank. And we're going to use watercolor paint to do that. So we're going to be doing something called a resist. And I'll tell you more about that next week. But so I do want you to use crayon today. And I'm going to start off by drawing a fish bowl. And then I'm going to give you some ideas on how you could do a tank if you'd rather do a tank. So you might want to watch this all the way through before you actually make up your mind of what you'd like to do. The reason I'm using a bigger piece of paper is to give us a lot of room so we can draw more details. And so if you have access to bigger paper, that would be best because then you'll have more room to put your things in your tank or in your bowl in this case. So I'm going to start off by drawing a large oval type shape. Actually, I want to make just a curve on the ends here. I'm doing this kind of light. You can't really erase crayon, but you can make some areas darker. And so I'm going to start off by sketching it out kind of lightly with crayon. So I'm making a large oval, and I want to make it, like I said, big so that I have room to put things inside of the tank. Or in this case, a fish bowl, right? I keep saying tank, but I'll show you the tank here in a minute. This is a fish bowl. Now, fish bowls are made out of glass most of the time. Sometimes they're plastic, but most of them that I've seen are glass. And it's just a big, giant bowl that can hold water and hold fish. Now, so here's the shape of it. And then at the top, there is an opening. Now, ours, you're not going to actually see the open part. I'm just drawing a curved section here, the little curve, and then a longer line that follows the same direction as our bowl. So we don't see the opening from this angle. We just see the side of it. And the same thing's going to happen at the bottom. I'm going to make the base a little bit wider than the top, so it goes out a little bit further on each side, and make a curve all the way across. Now again, I'm starting off a little bit lighter than I want to end up because I want to make sure I get it drawn the way I want first. In case I need to change anything a little bit, then I'll be able to hide it somewhat, but with crayon, like I said, you can't really erase crayon, so it's better to start off kind of sketching it out lightly. Okay, now I'm making it darker, this line. Now, if you have access to a lot of different colors, that would be great because then you could have a variety of color within your tank. My sources, or what I'm using today, is kind of limited. I'm keeping it simple, but it would look better if I used a lot of different colors for the things inside the tank, inside the bowl. Okay, yeah, so I have the bowl lined out the way I want it, and it's darkened in mostly now. Okay, now I'm ready to start putting things in the bowl. I'm just going to start off just like you would if you were filling a fish bowl with rocks at the bottom. Now you can use whatever color you want for this. I'm going to show you another way you can do this here in just a minute, but for now I'm just going to kind of make a rough, kind of a bumpy line all the way across, and this is to represent where the rocks are at the bottom, and then I want to color that in. Now, most of the things we're going to color today, you're better to color use the color first, whatever it may be, and then if you want to outline some things, go back with a darker crayon or go back with like a black crayon. The problem with trying to color on top of something that's already got black crayon is it can make your crayon all dirty. Like I'm starting to get a little bit of black here on the orange crayon, and then when you go to color something in somewhere else, you'll get black on it. So you have to be careful what coloring. It's better to color with the black over the color instead of the color over black, if that makes sense. You just don't want to. You're trying to keep the colors from mixing together, and it just makes it can make your drawing a kind of a muddy mess if you're not careful. Okay, so here's the rocks on the bottom. Now, if I want to define what those rocks look like, if I want to make individual rocks, I can go back then, and I'm going to use black crayon and make circles. And so I can do that, and then it looks like the rocks are then orange because I've already put the orange down first. Like I said, if I was doing it the other way, then it would mix the color of the black and the orange together, and so it wouldn't look as bright of an orange. It would be more of a mud color or a darker color. And the idea of a fish tank is everything that you see inside the tank is really bright and catches your attention. Fish, it's supposed to be relaxing to watch fish, is what I've heard. Now, I have some fish, and I don't watch them a lot. I'll watch them some, but they are kind of fun to take care of, and they do act in their own individual way. So it's kind of see the personalities of your fish acting together. Okay, there's the rocks on the bottom of the tank. Now I want to put some things that you would set inside the tank to decorate it, some decorations. I'm going to draw a castle here. And you could get all kinds of ideas for decorations. If you go to a local store that sells fish supplies, you could probably come up with some other ideas, or do a search on the internet. You could find some ideas for things that people put in fish tanks. I'm making this castle here. I'm sketching it out again. This time I'm using the purple crayon to draw with. You could use whatever color you like. And the lesson today is not necessarily on making a castle for the fish tank, so I'm not really taking you through the steps on how to do this. I'm just kind of showing that you can put a castle decoration within your fish tank, in your fish bowl. And then opening here. Okay, so what I would do on this kind of stuff is to make sure your outline is dark after you've got it sketched in, and then go back in and color lighter with whatever color you use to color. Now you could use the same color, or you can change it up a bit and use different colors. Okay, so here's my castle, and I think I'll use a different color to color it in. Let's use, let's see, I think I'll use blue. Okay, and I think I'll use red for the top. Okay, on this drawing that we're doing today, it's going to be important to make sure you fill in everything. Don't leave any white space except for where the water will go. We're going to do everything, draw everything but the water. So don't add any water in your color to the fish tank. We're going to be painting that in next time, as I mentioned earlier. So don't add any water. Okay, I think maybe I'll go back and outline this. I think I'll go back with black and outline it. Now, since these are darker, well, like I said, it's better to outline with black last if you're going to use black to outline stuff. Don't draw with it, just use it to outline once you have your drawing made. because it's less likely to mix together and change the brightness of the original color. Okay, then I think in this one I'm going to put a sign over here. Sometimes you'll see funny signs in fish tanks like no swimming. In this case I'm going to put no fishing. So it's just a kind of a plank sign here. And I'm going to put no fishing. And that's fishing without a G. Okay, so F-I-S-H-I-N and then like a little apostrophe up at the top. Okay. And then color the sign in. Okay, this is one of those cases you have to be careful if you're going with the color on top of the black. But this seems not to be affecting it too bad. Usually it's just the lighter colors, like if you're trying to use yellow or even that orange or the red, it might make it look bad if you tried to do on top of the black crayon. Okay, so there's my no fishing sign. Then I need some kind of, I'm going to put some, actually, let's see, I think next I'll do the fish. And you can do whatever size or style of fish you want. I'm just going to make like a goldfish right here in the middle. So I'm going to make a curve. Another curve like a football kind of, and with like a triangle out here on the end. This is just a basic shape for a goldfish. And then I'll color this in. And I think I'll add a little bit of a fin to the top and a little bit to the bottom. Then I'm going to go back and outline this with the black crayon. You got fish lips going on here. Outline the body and then make the fins on top and bottom. And a fin on the side. Okay, so there's basic goldfish. I could put other fish in here as well, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this one. And then I'm going to put some green plants growing here in the background. A lot of times in fish tanks you'll either have real ones growing or you'll have fake ones, plastic ones. And sometimes you can tell plants like that are fake because they're brighter than the real ones. The plastic is shiny bright. So I'm just putting wavy lines back here behind, make it look like it goes behind the fish. And it's good if you have a real fish tank, it's good to have some kind of place like that in the fish tank where if you have more than one fish in there, that there's a place to hide in case one is getting aggressive and the other one can hide. Okay, and then I also want to make it look like this is sitting on a table. So I'm going to make a curved line on each side. So just that short little curved line makes this look like it's sitting somewhere on a table. Now the thing about the way water does with light going through it, it looks like things get all bent and all. So if you want to put a line back here, I'm going to start a little bit higher. And this is going to be where the table is like you're looking at the table through the water, and so it looks like it's refracted there. It's bent, and so it makes it look like that edge of that table's higher. Now I'm just going to very lightly color that part of the table back here you're seeing through the fish tank. Again, don't draw any water. We're going to be adding the water next time. Something else you can do, instead of using the end of the crayon to color, you can take a piece of crayon that has no paper on it, take the paper off, and you can use the side and rub with it, just as you might do for the sky or the ground. Okay, and then I just rub it back and forth over the paper. And it's kind of a quick, easy way to color a large area and get it kind of a uniform color. Now you will run into a situation like I did here where if you have a wood grain underneath or something that's underneath, it might show up. There might be an extra line where it shows where that grain is, or if there's something underneath your paper, like just a little piece of something, another piece of paper or something, you might get an edge to that. Okay, I also want to do the wall. Let's see what color. I'll do it green. So I'm going to take a piece of green crayon, and it has no paper on it, and just kind of rub around the tank. And I'll tell you what, let's do one other thing. Even though I'm not doing the water, making the water, I am going to make where the top edge of the water will be in the bowl. Just make a line across there, and then I'll color the wall behind it like what you would see through the glass of the fishbowl. Okay, now hold on to this paper. Next week we'll add, like I said, we'll add some watercolor paint, and we'll paint the blue water. I want to show you another example before we go. And here's what I would do if I was making a fish tank. Same kind of thing, like it's sitting on the table, but this time instead of a round or oval shape, you've got a rectangle shape. And here's some other items that I thought of. Sometimes you see sunken ships in fish tanks, or treasure chest, or things related to pirates, things like that. Things that would be at the bottom of the sea, maybe. Also, here's another way you can do the gravel at the bottom of the tank. Just drawing little circles with whatever color that you choose to have for your gravel. And the fish, you can add whatever types and sizes of fish you want. One easy way to start off with to make a fish is to just make a shape, like a triangle or an oval or even a square. You can make a square fish. And then you add fins, add the different parts to it. Add fins, and you could draw scales or whatever on the fish. So this is our project for today, a fishbowl or a fish tank. Well, if you like this project, leave a comment below. Thank you for coming to art class, and I'll see you next time.
Goodbye, Mr. Mayberry.